Hey everybody, thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. I'm really excited. You guys know I love cartoons. It's the inner child in me. Of course, my favorite is Scooby-Doo, which a Scooby-Doo project is coming up very shortly. But a friend of mine, her daughter, is completely and utterly obsessed with Winnie the Pooh, which I think is really cute because she's only 3. But she's so obsessed. So I went out and I found these molds completely by accident, actually. And if you hear screaming in the background, I apologize. My daughter's friends are over, and teenage girls, when they get together, I don't know, it's never quiet. Anyway, so my apologies if you hear screaming. No one, I promise you, is being harmed in any way, shape, or form. So getting back to Winnie the Pooh. So her daughter is obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. So I happened just to be out, and this mold was in the baking section of, do you guys know what Daiso is? Have you ever been to Daiso? They also have a ton of like organizational stuff, cleaning stuff, kitchen stuff, cosmetics, stationery, you name it, they kind of have it. So it's kind of like a Dollar Tree sort of. But anyway, they have this really great section with like baking stuff, and they have a ton of molds. So they had this Winnie the Pooh one, and they also had these really cute ones. These, I guess I can turn them over so you could actually see them. So Donald Duck and Daisy Duck, and then Mickey Mouse. And then they also have it. I don't know what this little guy's name is. I know I don't know. Is it Dale? I'm not sure. But this cute little, I think they're chipmunks, or I think he's a chipmunk. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the chat because I am not 1000% sure, but I think it's Dale the chipmunk. Anyway, so they had all these really cute molds. And so when I saw Winnie the Pooh, I thought, oh my gosh, how perfect would this be for her? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take, this is just like a little sign for her room that she can put her name on, or that we'll put her name on. So I'm going to paint this. I haven't decided what color yet, but I'll paint this and seal it. And then I want to create a couple of these Winnie the Poohs. I'm not sure which ones yet. Most, they're duplicates, right? So like, I think it's this one, this one, this one. They're all the same. This one's different, and then those two are the same. So I did paint these 4 just with some mica powder and a little tiny micro brush. I'm sure nobody wanted to watch that very painstaking process, so I did do that before we started all of this. But the honey jars, they're actually indented, the text is, so I think I will just paint those after the fact just to make it a little bit easier and cleaner. So yeah, so I think we're just going to pour these, and I realized that I'm not a yellow person. I don't have yellow mica powder, really, not the color of Winnie the Pooh anyway. And I certainly don't have any yellow pigment paste. So I do have this, which is a very bright yellow, and I have this, and I have this. And so I was thinking that maybe what we could do is just kind of mix these together until we get something that resembles Winnie the Pooh's coloring. If we need to, we can add like a little bit of brown in there too, because look, I pulled out the brown. So I figure with all of these colors, we should be able to make something that is pretty close to Winnie the Pooh. And here's the other thing, she's 3. So I don't think that she is going to be breaking out her color palette and making sure. So I think we're going to be safe, whatever we go with. So I am just going to mix up some of the J Addiction Crystal Clear High Gloss Resin, and I will be back to you. We'll pour these, and yeah, and then we'll make a sign. I'm really excited about it.
Don't you wish that in real life you could just snap your fingers and your resin would be completely mixed? It would be the perfect color and you would be all good to go. I don't think they had this in the Jetsons. Do you guys remember the Jetsons? Once again, I'm living my best life through cartoons here. But everything was in the future, right? So George could get up in the morning and the machine would brush his teeth for him, and he just stepped on a conveyor belt and it took him through and showered him and dried him and dressed him. And how amazing would it be if that was how resin worked too? How amazing would a machine be that you could just like program it in and just say, okay, I want 8 ounces of this type of resin. I want it to be this color. And it magically just divvies it all out and it debubbles it for you. It mixes all of your colors in. It never flash cures. It's just it's kind of miraculous. Yes, that is what I think that the future should be. So if anybody decides to do a Jetsons remake, I think there should be a very special episode dedicated completely to resin. I think I got a pretty close color on Little Winnie. I think that it's close. Is it perfect? No, but it also depends. Are we talking about the earliest Winnie the Pooh? Are we talking about the most recent? So I think that there's some room for some creative license. I promised myself that I was going to stop rambling and waffling and talking about things that you probably really don't care about. And here I just went on like a 2-minute spiel about the Jetsons and Winnie the Pooh. And yeah, I have to apologize. Feel free to skip ahead when I start to waffle, because while I find it highly entertaining, maybe you guys don't feel the same. And back on topic, I took my yellow resin and I just added a pretty good amount of brown mica powder and just completely stirred it. It took forever to get it all stirred. I don't know, this brown was just not wanting to be mixed with that yellow for some reason. But I actually really like this brown, and I am not a brown person. I don't wear brown. I don't have brown in my home, but I think that this one is actually really pretty. It has a really nice shimmer to it. And these molds are really deep because they're meant for cupcakes, cakes, little dessert treats. So they're really deep, and I only filled them up about halfway, just to make it, nobody needs a 1-inch thick Winnie the Pooh hanging on their door. So I just filled them up about halfway. So I just topped up the rest of the brown since I didn't want to have any extras in brown. What am I going to do with that? And then I gave it a little bit of a shake just to release any of those bubbles. And then that's it. Now we just wait for it to cure. And I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see what it looks like.
Hey everyone, look what I came downstairs to this morning. I was so excited to come downstairs and unmold everything. And I came out into my studio, and sitting on my mat was demolded Winnie the Pooh. my daughter, my sweet, 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 lovey daughter, she came downstairs sometime early this morning and unmolded these. And they weren't really completely ready to be unmolded. I'm not sure if you can see it. You probably can't. But they're a little smushed, but that's okay. You can't really tell. I'm hoping that could be the mold too, actually, because it looks like these two are kind of the same. You probably can't see what I'm talking about. See how they're kind of uneven? That could have been my fault too when I poured. But I mean, you can't really tell, honestly. They're fine. Actually, they turned out really cute. I really like them. I think that they're adorable. I mean, look how cute these are. They're still a little bendy, but they are super, super cute. All of these are just adorable, even if I didn't get to unmold them with you guys. And then these, I think these are my favorites. I didn't think that they would be, but they kind of are. I kind of love these the best. I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Now I don't know what to do on her name plaque. So this is the name plaque that I'm going to use. I'm going to paint it, probably white, I'm thinking, just to keep there from being too much drama. And then maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I really like this one. This one is, I think, I think these are my favorites, but I don't know that I want to put both of them on there. But I don't know, maybe. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to have a think. I'm going to paint the board and then cut out her name on some vinyl. And then I'll come back and we'll talk about it. But first, I do want to paint in the letters, the lines, and then the letters. Okay, so here we are. Here's our sign. Here's our Winnie the Pooh. I think I'm going to put little Winnie down here on the corner, and then I'm just going to put the name across here. So I printed out the name on some Cricut, some very shiny, shiny Cricut, because who doesn't love shiny? And then we'll top coat it with some resin. We'll put our ribbon on and we'll be finished. So a super simple project, but really cute and fun too. So I'm going to put this out of the way, and then I'm going to weed this really fast, but I will not ask you to sit through that torture. Weeding is one of those things that surely came from a very, very dark place, and whoever came up with that is probably a very unhappy person. I'm just saying, just saying. So I will fast forward you through all of this. Please feel free to skip ahead and not watch the torture. And just like that, we're all done. That wasn't even real weeding. Oh, that came out so easy compared to what it normally does. But of course the letters are a lot bigger too. So now I ran out of transfer tape and I bought some new tape, but it's in this ginormous roll that I left in the house. So we're going to use just some regular old Scotch tape, and it'll be fine. It works great as transfer tape, honestly. So it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. You just need something that's going to pick the letters up off of your paper and move it over to your wood piece. So it's all good. This is what we do. We improvise when we're too lazy to go get the right material, which is literally what this has come down to. So yeah, so this will come off really simple and easy. And yes, I'm trying to convince myself of that. And then we'll just stick it down. So here goes. Look at that. Look at that. This is where everybody starts to laugh. Everybody's like, go get your transfer tape. By the way, that is not how I think you sound. That is how my daughter thinks I sound. So now my makeshift transfer tape is ready to go down. Just want to make sure that this Y, because the Y is a little bit fluffy compared to the rest of it. And yeah, I just put that at an angle. How? Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I put it at an angle so it would all fit. I probably should have made it a little bit smaller, huh? So the letters are on, and that font is a little wonky, I know, but that is the way it came out. So we're gonna embrace it. We're gonna embrace the maybe that's not exactly, something happened. Like, they're definitely crooked. We're just gonna go with it. I think it'll be very cute. I think it's gonna be really cute. Actually, I think it's gonna be perfect. So I'm going to grab some gloves and some cups, and then we'll top coat this. So I've mixed up the J Diction 4-hour demold. So it's pretty thick. So I think in about 3 hours, I should be able to come back in and just put Winnie on there. I was originally going to E6000 him on, but I think instead I'm just going to put him into the resin. So that way there's no chance of him popping off. At least that's my theory. So we'll see how that turns out. But worst case, if he doesn't stick on right, we can always glue him on. But I think for now, I'm just gonna let this get super, super tacky, 2.5, 3 hours, something like that. And then I'll stick little Winnie the Pooh on there, and then we'll be almost finished. So let me grab some gloves, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, I have some gloves and I have some cups. So anytime that you top coat something, you just want to be careful, because if it drips off the side, even though I'm using the 4 hour, so it shouldn't really drip off the side because it's super thick, and I've let it sit here for a little bit anyway to kind of even thicken up a little bit more. But anytime that you are top coating, you just want to make sure that you have it elevated up off the table. So just in case it does drip, it'll drip off the sides and onto your mat, as opposed to getting stuck to your mat and then you have big clumps of resin that you have to deal with. So can I just tell you that top coating is truly one of my least favorite things to do, because you can invest all of this time and effort and, financial resources into a project, and then your top coat, if something goes wrong, it can really put your entire project into jeopardy. So just be careful if you're going to do a top coat that you make sure your surface is really clean. If you can clean it with alcohol ahead of time, just depending on obviously what kind of surface you have. If you can clean it with alcohol, make sure you don't have any fingerprints on it, because any type of skin oils or anything like that will absolutely impede the resin and its ability to stay where you want it to. It will create little divots in your resin, which is very unattractive. And it's a real pain in the backside to have to try and fix that. You can sand it, but gosh, it's so much easier if you take the extra time and just make sure that your surface is super, super clean ahead of time. And if I get resin into the little holes for the ribbon, that's okay. I'll just drill them out, it's no big deal. I will just drill them out. So this resin is so, so, so thick, and it comes just right up to the edge. You can just drag it right up to the edge, and then it pretty much stays where you put it. If it's pulling away from the edges, that means a couple of things. One, you don't have enough resin on your piece, which is usually what it means. It could also mean that you have some sort of foreign matter there that it doesn't like skin oil or dirt or something like that. It's amazing what a little bit of dust will do to your project when you're top coating. So I typically will do my top coat, and then I will babysit it for a while, maybe half an hour or so, just until I feel like it's kind of done moving around and pulling away from the surface, and just being, doing what resin does, whatever it wants. You ever notice that resin is like your rebellious teenager? They just do whatever they want. Not that I know anything about that, because my teenagers are angels. Absolute angels. Some days when they're asleep at 2 a.m. on a Sunday. And I'm actually kidding. My kids are actually pretty great. Cannot complain. They say that the universe will only give you what you can deal with. So I was very grateful that the universe knew that I was absolutely incapable of dealing with dramatic things. So the universe just knew that I could not handle that. I would say I am far more dramatic than my children most days. Except for maybe my son. My son, he's got some drama in him. He has some drama in him. just gonna move this around. Probably not your best plan because so many things can go wrong, but I want to make sure I don't miss any pieces because I can see where it's kind of pulling from the edges in different places. And so you just keep adding a little bit here, a little bit there, until it just kind of decides it's finished moving around and it just wants to be still. And if it goes over the edge, I'm not too worried about it. We can always just sand off that little bit if we need to. So yeah, I am just going to play with this for a little bit. And then I'll meet you back here when this is all cured up. And we'll attach our little Winnie the Pooh. And yeah, and then we'll finish it off. I'm pretty excited. I don't know if I'm excited about this font that I chose. Might not have been the best choice, but I like everything else about it. So I'm gonna live with the font. Okay, friends, that's it. I'll see you back here in a few hours. All right, so it's finished. I finished the top coat, and of course I added our little friend Winnie the Pooh. I did put a glittery back on just because, I don't know, no one wants to see an icky back, right? You just want it to be pretty and sparkly. So even though it's gonna hang on a door, it should still have a pretty back. So I finished it off with that, and I love the glitter. I think it's so pretty. And yeah, so it'll just hang on her door. So what do you guys think? Simple project, easy enough, anybody can do it. And I love the results. So if you like this video, you guys know what to do. And if you would like to subscribe, we would love to have you. And take care, and I'll see you next time.